Hey there. So that was my music. This you're hearing now is Kevin MacLeod's music. The song is Killer, and it's named Killers. Kevin MacLeod is a composer you may be familiar with from YouTube. If you make videos, you want to use royalty-free music with a composer who is not going to come back on you and make demands. Well, my go-to is Kevin MacLeod, and he happens to be officially the most listened to person in the world for the past 10 years, and he also might be...
Hey, it's your favorite composer, Kevin MacLeod.
Though you may not know it until after this video. Autocorrect wants me to misspell your name, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine. So does the world. I chose a shitty name. I like it, but whatever.
Yeah, the college I went to, Tartan, was MacLeod, or is MacLeod.
Didn't know colleges had tartans.
Yeah, I guess Presbyterian ones do. I don't know why. I went there for 4 years, and I was only aware of once or twice about it being a Presbyterian college.
Did you know that Presbyterian is an anagram of Britney Spears?
Wow. I don't know what I'm going to do with that information, but now I have it.
Well, what did I do with that information? You pass it along.
Yes. Oh, I looked briefly at the emoji thing that you showed me. That's pretty cool. I like that concept. But I didn't go to the site and actually do it, because do you have to enter the music into the public domain to do that, or?
Oh, in order to publish it on that site, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I was thinking about doing that with some of my music to try to test it out and see. Yeah. And I wondered how you did it. Is it Creative Commons?
CC0.
CC0?
Is how it's legally done.
Okay. So, I just wondered, if you had to say the reasoning behind that in a couple of sentences, I wondered what that would be.
Why do I do it?
Yeah, looking back, are you glad you did it? And then
absolutely,
would you
more
recommend it?
myself, I'm jumping into public domain.
Yeah.
Public domain is the easiest thing for everyone to use.
Yeah.
And my music only has value when it has an audience. If I want it to be used by a lot of people, I have to make it the easiest thing in the world to use.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You don't have to look for principles beyond that.
Yeah. See, the way I see it, you're cutting out a lot of middlemen by what you're doing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then financially, it's probably the obvious, or maybe the assumed case would be, well, if it's public domain, then financially it doesn't make sense to do it if you want to have a career in music. But then I've never heard the other side of the argument because
the other side of the argument is if nobody heard you, nobody can like you.
Yeah.
So you want to get it out there and you want to get into a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I want. If you want to make money, fine. I happen to make money. It does make money.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, is that it's not a...
It says that I trust the audience first. If they find value in it, then they come back and support me on Patreon or donate or...
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
I remember with Napster, and Metallica led the charge against that, and the backlash was pretty severe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it really affected them so much in the long run, but I definitely was aware of it at the time.
They would definitely be more relevant today if they went down like the Moby route.
Mm-hmm.
With the help of internet, obviously internet was a main driver for globalization, because it's just easy to reach information to reach anywhere.
I don't think anyone in the world benefited from MP3 downloading as much as we did, because we started discovering new bands through the internet, downloading their music and listening to it. Especially we couldn't get it, we didn't have any access to it. I apologize to all the bands, but we had to do this. That was the only way we could discover them.
So Lars, you know, most of the fans were meeting around the world. The only way they can get music is by downloading it on the internet. You know, how do you feel about that?
I think it's a great thing, yeah. I think it's great. I mean, obviously it's the way to share this stuff, and I think it's awesome. We're at peace with that, and we just champion it like everybody else. What the internet has done, you know, which is a great thing of bringing everything, you know, and making everything available and global and so on. I mean, it's just awesome. If kids can get their hands on the music, then it's a great thing. If kids can get their hands on the music, then it's a great thing. Across the country, and we were like, well, how did that happen? And I got a call from our office, like the next day. It traces back to something called Napster, and we were like, well, if they're fuck with us, we'll fuck with them. And then it sort of turned into it started off a street fight, and then we were sort of like a little bit like deer caught in headlights, and then obviously we stood our ground and fought the fight. But we're at peace with that, and we to champion it like everybody else. The Napster people were really smart in that they made the whole fight about, you know, about money and about, you know, Metallica. We were like, well, hang on, it's not about money. They were very smart, but 13 years later, you know, it was what it was. I'm proud of the fact that we stood up for what we believed in at that time, and I think that history has sort of proved that we were somewhat right, and I don't take credit for anything. I still think that there were... It just feels like me being the poster child for that always felt a little odd. It seemed like somebody like... and I got a call from our office, like the next day. It traces back to something called Napster. And if they fuck with us, we'll fuck with them. It started off a street fight. Like I said, I'm proud of that we stood up for what we believed in. Metallica has always been... we've been very impulsive. And I think people have sort of conveniently, they underestimate that side of us when we do things. They always look for these big reasons and all this, you know, it's like, we just jump. People that, there are obviously people that have, you know, when they hear the word Metallica, just like we're sitting here talking 15 minutes in, the Napster thing comes up. So I'd say in every 5th interview I do these days, there's a Napster 3-minute conversation in there. I mean, it's as you know, it's like it'll be part of my obituary. You know, it's like it'll be in the first 5 sentences of my obituary, and I sort of accept that for better or worse. I mean, in my life, it's a footnote, but in some people's perception of who I am and what Metallica is, I understand that it's a big thing. And
Now you can download music, you can access everything. So it's easy for most of the people around the Middle East to listen to metal. It's going to grow.
Popular internet sites for downloading music. A federal court ruled Monday Napster must stop allowing music fans to swap copyrighted material. Eyewitness News 25's John Sheeman has the story.
Monday, the Recording Industry Association of America won the latest round in its battle against Napster.
It's time for Napster to stand down and build their business the old-fashioned way. No.
Oh, now they've lost their way. Now they can't go home. You sure you don't want one?
Hey, who wants to go home with the nice ladies, huh? Oh, pick me. Oh, don't be afraid. I don't bite. What's your name?
Take that on the right. It'll take you right to the interstate.
Wait a minute.
Take some nuts with you, just in case you see a squirrel.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna pop me.
They must seek permission first.
I think it's another nail in Napster's coffin.
Music library.
Oh, when I'm at work at the hospital, I'll think of a song and I'll run back to my desk and write down the song so I can come home. I have my little list right here of all the songs I need to get on Napster tonight.
Despite Monday's setback in court, Napster's founders hope to keep their service running.
We've heard that we couldn't survive before when we had 700,000 members and when we had 17 million members.
Meanwhile, Napster fans are going to keep downloading until the very end.
There's going to be a lot of upset people in the United States, I'll tell you that much.
But fearing an immediate shutdown of the site, Napster users had downloaded an estimated 250 million songs over the weekend.
And like, yep, people can have this, or U2. They give away their U2 gives away their albums for free. Wait a minute, let's look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Their last album they didn't charge for.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just free to everyone everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Not to license it for commercials, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
to listen to.
Yeah. And it ends up being that way anyway with YouTube and everything else. Like, I'm a fan
U2.
of...
I meant the band U2.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Okay, suck.
Yeah. The first time I heard about YouTube, I thought somebody was telling me about the band U2, and I'm like, they've been around forever. What are you talking about? The other band I thought of that kind of did that was ELO. It's one of my favorite bands, Jeff Lynne.
Oh, all right.
And he released an album in November, and it went straight to YouTube. There's no commercials. It just plays and that type of thing.
Yep.
So maybe it's becoming more common.
I think they're right.
So the industry, the monetization, yeah, it seems like that system, by the time it's done with you, you're not getting much money anyway. And ultimately, the money comes from the fans, and they can avoid paying various ways. So yeah, that really makes sense, and you just don't hear much about it.
Yeah. No, Spotify is huge. Spotify gives me a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's available on Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah.
People pay their $10 a month or whatever, and Spotify gives me some money. I don't know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah,
the old, you got to get on the iTunes. Well, I mean, you should be on the iTunes store, but, selling tracks at 99 cents a piece, you're getting nowhere with that.
Yeah.
Even giant people are getting, Sony and Warner and Universal, they make money.
Yeah. On my website, I give away my music with donation, so you can download as much as you want. The only thing is the transaction cost is like 49 cents. So, it's technically not free, but I've had some nice donations from there. Probably, now that I think about it, I've probably earned more than if I were charging by the track or album.
Yeah, and then more people get to experience it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're in the game.
Yeah.